Hi students, today we are going to discuss about the chapter Transportation in Animals and Plants. Myself Vivek Sajjan, working as assistant science teacher in Chandrakant Padel Central School. So today we are going to discuss on this chapter that transportation, how the transportation takes place, transportation of water and food in animals and plants. Okay. If you have any doubts, please comment in the comment box. We will give the answer for your doubts. Okay. So let us move to the chapter. So let us begin with the introductory part. That is, you have already learned in earlier classes that all organisms need food, water and oxygen for survival. Okay. All organisms need food, water and oxygen for survival. They need to transport all these to various parts of the body. Further, animals need to transport waste of parts from where they can be removed. So these food, water and oxygen has to be transported to the various parts of the body, and the waste generated in the different parts of the body has to be removed from our body. It all needs the transportation system in our body. Okay, they function to transport substance and together form the circulatory system. Okay, this one, the transporting of useful substance, whatever the need to our body, for example food, water and oxygen, they are very needy to our body. Okay, that has to be transported to the various parts of the body, and the waste generated in our body, that has to be removed from our body. This is done through the help of circulatory system. Okay, in this chapter we shall learn about the transport of substance in plants and animals. Okay, in this chapter we are going to study about the transportation in transport of different substances in plants and animals. Okay, so initially we will see about the circulatory system. In that, mainly we are going to deal with the blood. Okay, blood is a liquid or fluid which has cells of various kinds of suspended in it. Blood consists of different types of cells. Okay, like RBCs and WBCs. RBCs means red blood cells, WBCs means white blood cells. Okay, they consist of different types of cells in blood. Okay, the fluid part of the blood is called plasma. The fluid part which is present in the blood, that is known as plasma. Plasma, one type of cell are the red blood cells, RBCs, already I have told to you, which contains a red pigment called hemoglobin. RBC contains one red pigment called hemoglobin. Okay, hemoglobin bind with oxygen and transport it to all the different parts of the body and ultimately to all the cells. Hemoglobin will transport the oxygen to the various parts of our body. Okay, it will be difficult to provide oxygen efficiently to all the cells of the body without hemoglobin. Without hemoglobin, we can't transport the oxygen to the different parts of our body. Okay, the presence of hemoglobin makes blood appear red. The presence of hemoglobin makes the appearance of blood to be red. Okay. So next we have the blood also has white blood cells, that is WBC, which fight against germs that may enter our body. Okay, WBCs will fight against the germs or organisms which are bad to our body. That will fight with the WBC will fight with that germs. Okay, the clot is formed because of the presence of another type of cell in the body or blood is called platelets. So blood platelets are present in the blood. They will clot the blood. If you have come across with any scratches on your body, the blood will go from your body. That has to be stopped by the blood platelets. Okay, blood vessels, two types of blood vessels are present in our body. They are arteries and veins. There are two types of blood vessels are there. They are arteries and veins. Okay, arteries carry oxygen rich blood from the heart to all parts of our body. What is the function of arteries? Means they will carry the oxygenated blood or else oxygen rich blood to the different parts of the body. And veins function is which it will carry the carbon dioxide blood from the different parts of our body to back to the heart. Okay, function of arteries is it will carry the oxygenated blood and to the different parts of the body, and veins will carry the deoxygenated blood, or else we can say carbon dioxide rich blood to the heart. Okay, from heart it will goes to the lungs, and from there it will exhale to the external environment. Next we are having the heart diagram. You can see in this picture. So heart has this one pulmonary arteries, right atrium. Totally heart have 4 chambers. They are right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium and left ventricle. These are the 4 chambers which are present in our heart. And this is the aorta, pulmonary veins, completely separating 2 halves. Okay, they have separation between the 2 different parts. Okay, here we have 2 chambers and here we have 2 chambers. Okay, this is the right chamber and this is the left chamber, which we can see in the heart. Okay, totally 4 chambers. They are right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium and left ventricle. Here deoxygenated blood comes to the heart. Here oxygenated blood goes to the different parts of the body. Heart is an organ which beats continuously to act as a pump for the transport of blood, which carries other substances with it. See, what is the function of heart? Means it will supply the blood to the different parts of the body. The blood will consist of useful substance also and the waste substance also. First, initially the blood will give to the each and every cell the useful substance to the cell which is required to the cell. Okay, and it will carry, while coming back, it will carry the waste substance with it, and it will come to the heart once again. Okay, the heart is located in the chest cavity with its lower tip slightly tilted towards the left. So heart is present at the chest cavity and which is tilted towards little bit left. Your heart is roughly the size of your fist. It is hardly your size of your fist. Okay, to avoid mixing of oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood, heart has 4 chambers. Why heart has 4 chambers? Means to avoid the mixing of oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. So that's why we have 4 chambers. Okay, the 2 upper chambers are called the atria, singular atria, atrium, and the 2 lower chambers are called, so 2 chambers are called atria and 2 chambers are called ventricles. Okay, next we are having heartbeat. The blood flow from the heart to the lungs. The blood flow from the heart to the lungs. Initially the blood will goes from heart to the lungs and back to the heart, from where it is pumped to the rest of the body. First the blood will flows from heart to the lungs, where the deoxygenated blood will becomes oxygenated in the lungs, and the oxygenated blood once again it will goes to the heart, and heart will pumps the blood will goes to the different parts of the body. The walls of the chamber of the heart are made up of muscles. These muscles contract and relax rhythmically. The walls of the heart is made by the muscles. Okay, so cardiac muscles which we can see in the heart, they will contract and relax rhythmically. This rhythmic contraction followed by the relaxation constitute a heartbeat. This rhythmically contraction and relaxation which makes the heartbeat. Okay, the doctor feels your heartbeat with the help of an instrument called stethoscope. The checking of heart, the instrument which is used for checking the heartbeat, that is known as stethoscope. Okay. So excretion in animals. When our cells perform their functions, certain waste products are released. When our cells inside our body is constituted by the cells. Whenever the cell functions, it will contain some certain waste. These are toxic and hence need to be removed from our body. That waste which are produced inside the cell, they are toxic, they are dangerous to our body. So that's why they have to be removed from our body. The process of removal of waste produced in the cells of the living organisms is called excretion. The process of removal of or excretion of waste product which are produced inside our body, that process is known as excretion. We call, okay, the excretion parts involved in excretion forms the excretory system. The parts which are involved in the removing of waste substance from our body, that constitute excretory system. So next we are having excretory system in humans. The waste which is present in the blood has to be removed from our body. Okay, a mechanism of filtrate done by the blood capillaries in the kidney. The filtration process, the purification of blood is done in the kidneys. Okay, when the blood reaches the two kidneys, it contains both useful and harmful substance within it. Whenever the blood reaches to the kidney, it contains both useful substance and waste substance, or else toxic substance, or else harmful substance within it. Okay, the useful substances are absorbed back into the blood and the waste substances are given to the kidneys. The waste substance dissolved in water are removed as urine. The waste substance which are dissolved in water, that is removed as urine, which is removed in the form of urine. From the kidneys, the urine goes into the urinary bladder through tube-like structures. Okay, from the kidney, the urine goes to the urinary bladder from the tube-like structures called ureters. Okay, you can see the picture also. Here we have the picture of excretory system in humans. This will consist of two kidneys. Okay, this is tube-like structure called ureter, and this bag-like structure called urinary bladder, and this another tube-like structure called urethra, and this one opening is known as, from this opening we can pass the urine. This is known as urinary opening. This is the excretory system of human beings. Excretory system in humans, once again, urine is stored in the bladder and is passed out through the urinary opening at the end of the muscular called urethra. Urine is stored in the urinary bladder, and whenever we urge to pass the urine, we can pass through the urethra. Okay, the kidneys, ureters, bladder and urethra form the excretory system. There are four major parts. They are kidneys, ureter, bladder and urethra. These will constitute the excretory system. An adult human being normally passes about 1.1 to 1.8 liter urine in 24 hours. An adult human beings will passes the urine in one day, that is about 1 to 1.8 liter of urine they will pass. And the urine consists of 95% water and 2.5% urea and 2.5% waste products. Urine constitutes of 95% water. Okay, 2.5% it has urea and 2.5% it has waste products. So next, the transportation of water and minerals in plants. Okay, you can see that this is the root. Okay, from root it will absorb the water and minerals which are present in the soil, and it will passes to the different parts of the body, but it will goes in only one direction. Okay, plant absorb water and minerals by the roots. The roots have root hairs. It also has some root hairs also. Okay, the root hairs increase the surface area of the root for absorption of water and minerals. That root hair will help in the absorption of water and minerals, nutrients dissolved in the water which is present in the soil. Okay, the roots and root hairs will help in the absorption of water, minerals which are present in the soil. You can see like this, the roots will absorb the water, minerals, nutrients which are required for the development of the plant body. Okay, the root hair is in contact with the water present in between the soil particles. Okay, plants have pipe-like vessels to transport water and nutrients from the soil. The vessels are made up of special cells forming the vascular tissue. Plants have the pipe-like vessels. Okay, that is known as xylem and filtrate. Okay, next we are having the vascular tissue for the transport of water and minerals or nutrients to the plant is called xylem. Okay, this tube-like structure is known as xylem. Xylem will help in the transportation of, they are the tissues. Okay, so they will help in the transportation of water and minerals and nutrients which are required for the plant. The xylem forms a continuous network of channels that connects the roots to the leaves through the stem and branches, and thus transport of water entire plant. It will connect, the xylem will connect from roots to the leaves. Okay, that is done by the help of transpiration pull. Okay, we can see the food has to be transported to the all parts of the plant. This is done by the vascular tissue, another vascular tissue called the phloem. The food is transported by the another vascular tissue, by the another tube-like structure which is present in the plant, that is known as phloem. Okay, thus xylem and phloem transport substance in plants. The xylem and phloem vascular tissues will transport the xylem will transport the minerals, nutrients and water which are required for the plants, and the phloem will transport the food which is required for the plant. Okay, which can be stored in plant. So next, transpiration. The transpiration process will take place in the plants only in plants. Plants absorb minerals, nutrients and water from the soil. Plants will absorb the minerals, water from the soil. Not all the water absorbed is utilized by the plant. Okay, all the water is not utilized by the plant. The water evaporates through the stomata present in the leaves. The water will evaporate. Some percentage of water is evaporates in the form of in the form of waste from the stomata. Okay, the surface of the leaves by the process called transpiration. This removal of excess of water from the leaves, this process is known as transpiration. The evaporation of water from leaves generates a suction pool, the same that you produce when you suck water through the straw. How we can suck this one coconut juice from the straw, like that only the plants will work. Okay, which can pull water to great height in the tall trees. Okay, transpiration also cools the plant body. So thank you guys. If you have any doubts in this chapter, please comment in the comment box. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye.